Okay, so something that we find really, really valuable with larger dogs is to actually train them to almost hug you, to put their front feet quite high. And I've got clients that will use this in the vet consult room so that I can examine their dogs while they are being rewarded by their owner with their front feet up. It's a great way for you to stretch your dogs.
For me personally, having a dog like Fiji around an agility environment, she can be very, very high, very, very excitable. Sometimes I want to direct her attention from something and to turn it back towards me. So again, it's just another trick that I've got up my sleeve that allows me to maintain that focus and that connection with her when we're out and about.
Absolutely. So the way that we do this is we ideally want this long term to be on cue. What we don't want necessarily, or you might not want necessarily, is your dog just jumping up at you. We actually quite like our dogs to jump up at us, but we know it's not for everyone.
We know with some clients you might be like, I've been trying to work on no jumping up for so long. However, what we're saying to you is you take the bits you like, you put it on cue, and actually the more you put it on cue, the more it shouldn't happen off cue.
Absolutely. So the way that we train this is by luring our dogs up onto us, and Fiji's going to show us.
Now, Tom, why do we lure them up? And I'll definitely work through it with her now. Can you just explain to everyone why we lure them? Because I think that's a really important part of what we're doing in terms of the movement and the arousal we're getting.
Absolutely. So luring generally gets a lower arousal level than shaping, and especially important in this exercise is we don't want our dogs madly offering things when they are so stretched up, because you know what, that's putting their bodies under a lot of strain that otherwise they wouldn't be used to in day-to-day life. It's not a position that they would find themselves in often.
G, come on. Good.
So we start by just feeding closer and closer, and then at the moment where we're getting nice jump up, we're going to feed, and we're going to feed high. Now, all we have to do here is just feed, and bear in mind that actually this is new to your dog. So it might be that they've got to build up muscle. They've got to build up muscle around here to be able to support their bodies in air.
My physio, she calls it doggy dancing, and what she's looking for, and it's definitely, there's a lot of strength involved as well as actually some dog training and some fun with your dog.
Now, where the handling element and the massage element comes into this is actually when we start to get our hands on our dogs. So what we're going to show you here is that Fiji's up into that position, and what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to start touching her, and she's getting fed for being touched. Now, it might be that, I don't know, I've got my stethoscope on and I'm listening to her heart or something if we're in the vet consult room. It might be that I'm feeling for any kind of pain through her back. It might be that I'm lasering her back, or I'm lasering some of her hind limb muscles. You know, this is incredibly versatile in terms of its uses, and the really cool thing is that coupled with middle, there really isn't anything that you can't do to your dog, whether it's a vaccination, whether it's listening to their heart, whether it's feeling them, whether it's feeling their muscles, whether it's giving them a massage. This and middle make it all possible.
Also notice that, does your dog move their feet a lot? So at first when Fiji started this, her back feet would move very, very regularly. And that's really just not being able to hold a position. And of course they might move, but you don't want to be moving all of the time. The other thing I would certainly notice is when I go to do things like refill a pot of food, which I'm doing right now, is she able to maintain that contact with me and that connection with me? Or is that a moment of breaking off? So those things are worth noticing. Okay, so in summary, what you're looking at there is actually a really great option in terms of the bigger dogs. Now, if I'm working with a small dog like Best or Blink, absolutely, we love to catch them. It's super fun, it's super safe, it's a great relationship game. If I've got my bigger dogs, Illy, Fiji, Lava, actually, although I think we'd argue about Lava, Tom would still like to consider her
I'd still carry Lava
a small dog.
Who wouldn't?
But what we're looking for with the bigger dogs is actually an alternative that really works for relationship, works for reinforcement, works for that fun-loving connection, and at the same time builds huge value in you and has lots of multi-purposes.